Once upon a time, there was a painter. He was a good painter, and he made a modest living for his wife and himself. All was well except for one thing. The painter didn't want to be a painter. He wanted to be a shoemaker.
I'm drudging my way through life. Every day from 9 to 5, it's canvas and landscapes and easels. And oh, it's so dull. I want to do something creative.
How was that painting was creative? You deal with light and shade and perspective and such.
You call that creative? I'll tell you creative. Making shoes. That's creative. Something for the feet. Something that lives. Something with aroma. Something to last through eternity. Shoes that sing!
But just then the clock struck 9. Time for work. The painter shuffled off to the nearest still life and with a sigh began dabbling and swirling the canvas.
I wish I were a shoemaker. I wish I were a shoemaker. I wish I were a shoemaker. Poof!
The third time he said the magic phrase, an elf appeared. The patron elf of shoemakers.
So you want to be like Herman Cappuccino?
Who are you and who is Herman Cappuccino?
No need to explain who I am, but Herman Cappuccino, he's the greatest little shoemaker ever to live. When Napoleon tromped through Russia, whose shoes did he have on? When Lewis Clark explored the Northwest Passage, and Dorothy, that girl from Iowa, or something, clicked her heels, whose shoes did they have on? Herman Cappuccino's. That's who.
Ooh, can I be like Herman Cappuccino?
It ain't easy. You gotta suffer. You gotta spend time on left bank Paris. You gotta study. You gotta wear braids. And you gotta talk with a ridiculous accent.
That night, the painter told his wife his plans. She just shook her head.
Great shoemakers are not made, they are born. Why do you go back to something sensible like your paintings?
No! Anyone can paint! I want to sit in cafes, discuss shoelace expeditions, and design comfortable yet affordable loafers. And above all, suffer!
So that night, the painter left for Paris. He entered the famous shoe school, Velcro, and under the tutelage of the famous, if strange, professor, Jean-Claude Louis Marc Paul, he learned all there was to know about shoemaking. He took the history of the heel in the 18th century. He read all the books on tongue theory and practice. He wrote an essay called What Those Little Plastic Things on the End of Shoelaces Are Really Called. But alas, he never learned to make a shoe that sang.
If only I could make a shoe that sings the spring of love. How can I make a shoe with a soul as well as a soul?
Oh, just then, as he stood on Paris's main boulevard, pulling the rest of his hair out, he heard the most beautiful music. He found the lovely sound, and there, on the feet of a goatee-wearing man, was a singing shoe. The shoe sang its song, and then said,
Oh, thank you very much. You've been a great audience. And it's for you, the audience that is saying your appreciation is what?
Now that truly is a shoe with a soul. I must have that shoe.
Hey, what are you doing?
I just want to know where you got your shoes.
Got them in Elvesville.
Elvesville? Why, that was the painter's hometown. He had been suffering around Europe when he could be home making shoes that sing. So the painter returned to Elvesville and found that everyone in town was wearing exquisite singing shoes.
Where'd you get all those exquisite singing shoes?
and they told him, 2311 South Bulldog. You turn left, go about 3 blocks, and...
You don't have to tell me. That's my house.
Sorry. And sure enough, when the painter got home, he found all of the walls of his house lined with exquisite-looking shoes, all of them singing merrily away. And who did he find sitting behind the cutler's bench? His wife.
Why didn't you tell me you made exquisite shoes?
Why? Because you never asked, of course.
And so, from that day on, the painter went back to his easel from 9 to 5. Eventually, his paintings began selling like hotcakes, and he became very famous indeed. His paintings hung in all the famous museums in Europe, but he never did become a shoemaker and had to be content with being an amazing painter and very, very wealthy.
Now, I know what you're saying to yourself. Every fairy tale ends with a lesson or moral, right? What's the moral of this good story, you ask? It just goes to prove not everybody can be like Herman Cappuccino. Or something